Well, hello there, everybody. Jamming out to a little bit Paul McCartney. I can smell your feet a mile away. So, what's up, everybody? So good to see you. Thank you for tuning in on Prosperity Monday. Yeah, I can't think of a better way to start the week out by saying, all right, it's going to be a prosperous day. So, and it's all coming my way. Yeah, yeah. Or you can say it's coming your way. Yeah. Hey, you speak it, you proclaim it, then you start possessing it. That's it. So, what's up, everybody? Speaking favor over us all, nothing missing, nothing broken be found in your lives with abundance of favor. I tell you what, nothing better than look at life each day that way. Every day, every way, it's always getting better and better each and every day. And you can just add to that. So, Lucky is on his channel doing the affirmations, which are cool. So, hey, Lucky, what's up, brother? Seen Courtney out there as well. I think Robert V's on vacation. So, Robert, if you're tuning in wherever you may be, we say hello to you. Be of service to others. It'll always come back. So, whenever you have that need, you've already planted the seed. You just got to harvest it, baby. That's it. And happy birthday if you got one. Anniversary. Yeah. So, what else is happening? Lots going on. There is no doubt about it. Strangeness is afoot. It's kind of like you have to take the point of view, I am convinced, of making sure that you never look at things through the same set of lenses. So sometimes, you have to put on the 3D glasses in order to really see a different perspective. Had a great time yesterday. Was on Chris Matthews' show, The Forbidden News Knowledge. Left a link below. Go over there and check it out. I think it's over on Spreaker. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It truly was. A lot covered. We're going to kind of get a little bit in today what was covered there. But, Chris and, when I think of Brandon, Ballot Brand, and, of course, Ryder Lee. Ryder, I did get your email. I just got to get to it. Thank you for the introduction as well. So, got a text from Big Al, and he said that he's going to be sending out an email, kind of like, lots going on. So we love you. And those of you who have, put in your pre-order, Al will be addressing that. So thank you, Big Al. We appreciate that. Boy, wild temperature swings. Oh, I got to tell you, this time yesterday, it was 97 degrees. Right now, it is 62 degrees. I mean, this cold front came through this morning and it felt like a cold front. I mean, it's like, damn, been hot, baby. Africa hot. And wow, it is just refreshing. I was at the Home Depot at 6:15 this morning, and when it came through, gotta love the Home Depot. I mean, Lowe's, whatever, which one you have, just a lot of fun. You can get lost in there. Let's see. So Lynn and I have been experiencing for the last couple of nights, and it's not fun anymore. Exactly at 3 a.m., our smoke detectors have been going off. There's nothing, there's no smoke in the house. There's nothing like that. But yeah, you know what? I interpret it as it's heralding a great announcement that's coming to us, because, you could take it, I guess, in another direction and say, well, what the hell is going on? And as you all know, when you are awakened out of a deep sleep, yeah, baby, Don't tell me we live in two different realms, because I got to tell you what, you find it difficult to orientate yourself to this realm. Yeah. And sometimes it's more difficult. So anyway, what's up, everybody? Nick Bravo, how are you? As a toy store for it is, Nick. I swear it is, man. I mean, you can just walk up and down the aisles and go, I ain't got a damn need for that, but I ought to buy it. It's like, yeah, because you just never know. Go, what's up? So good to see you. Deborah, what's up? John Price, hello. Shannon, much love to you. Project Skyfalls, what up? Joyce Marie, hello. Mary Wins, good to see you, my dear. Belanca, hello. Truth Seeker, man, love this group. Love this group. And send some positive vibes to Big Al. I was thinking about him this weekend. Here they go and start this business, and the over the road trucking industry is being decimated right now, just decimated. So let's just send some positive vibes out there. All right. Hey, Susie Q, good to see you, darling. Elderberry, hello. Lost in Space, what's up? Lucky Smith, yes. Yeti, hey, Yeti, good to see you. Welcome. Haven't seen you before. Robert V, there he is. He's in the house. AFI, hello. How are you? Jargo, good to see you as well. So, yeah, we're all in the family. Yeah. Spread the love. And, if you're doing good right now, then send some of that energy to others who are not. Who was it? That Sandy Scott, you need to just send some love to her, healing, just encouragement, and again, just that edifying, uplifting energy, because it does work. Speaking of which, this is the cutest little book. It's by Pam Groot, as you can see. It is called The Energy Book. And this is 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your realities. And it is, again, I've had this for a couple of years. The experiments in them are each one, as you can see here. Let me get it there. Y'all feeling seasick yet? Take your Dramamine. So this one, I have just a number of these little things. These are just cute as ever, but the experiments are more than cute. Experiment number 4. This is called the abracadabra principle. Abracadabra, reach out and grab you. Whatever you focus on expands. And if you're focusing deeply on it, man, and I'm not going to go through it, but here's the premise. The pages are like that big, right? I feel like Tiny Tim here. Yes, this is the chapter you've all been waiting for, the chapter on how to manifest material things. It's the spiritual principle that attracts would-be believers like 15-year-old males to Megan Fox. My friend Chris, most of my friends, think this principle employs magic, work for some people, but not for all. So is it true that, one thing could work for one person and not work for another? Yeah, we know that. But it's not any more complicated than walking from Biloxi, Mississippi to New Orleans. I've driven that on Interstate 10, and I don't think I'd want to walk that. I just got to tell you, once you have the right map, every thought is a step in the direction or the other. Thoughts that take you back to Biloxi are good jobs, hot dates are not available, or even more popular. Good jobs and hot dates are available, but not for the likes of me. Thoughts that move you towards New Orleans go something like this. That new job is going to be amazing. It's going to be freaking far out. And man, Is this person sitting next to me on my couch ever so fine? The more energy and excitement you invest, the more you get. And as I recall, go back to your youth. There was a time where, to me, it was, all about conquest, right? Newton's first law of prayer. When you throw a tennis ball in the air, you can count on it coming down. Intention is just like the tennis ball. It comes back just the way you send it out. Like Newton said in his famous third law of motion, every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. What you give out, what you pray about, what you think about, you get back an equal measure. If you send out thoughts of fear, you get back things to be scared of. If you lie, you'll be lied to. If you criticize, you'll be criticized. If you send out love, you get big bountiness. I love this love back, just in freaking dump truckloads, If you send out blessings, you get blessed in turn. If you want to know what you're really praying for or thinking or desiring, that's all prayer is. It's a form of meditation. You're praying to yourself. I know people say, well, now, wait a minute. Yeah, but actually you are. It says, praying for take a look around your life. You'll see your innermost thoughts and real desire of your heart, the prayers no one knows about you. It's a great little book. I think I actually may have this in PDF. I don't know, but it works. 9 experiments that you can write down and you can start manifesting. Jargo, what's up? Good to see you. David Castle, how you doing, brother? Hello, is Rufus. And Julie, good to see you. New Yoda. And who else is Mossy? How you doing? Today is July 11th. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. What else? Oh, so we have listeners, Soul Tribe families all over the world. This one is from Thomas. Thomas lives in Germany, and he asked that the group, we're good at manifesting. We are. So he put this forth. In Germany, it's as hot there as it is here, and it doesn't get hot there like it does here. I live out here in Denver, and it does get warm. Germany is a little different situation. I mean, and when they're talking about 50 degrees Celsius, it's 122. I think I'm right. Yeah, it is right. But anyway, it's really hot. We know weather patterns are all over the place. I mean, like today, it was 100 plus degrees yesterday, and today it's, some 35 degrees, boom, baby, down. And I have no doubt we're going to be back up. So whether this is deliberately manipulated, whether this is a natural phenomenon, but I do believe that we found out that group intention has group results. So he would like everyone, and I'll get more into this tomorrow with Trina when we do a second look. The 13th is a full supermoon. That's Wednesday. And he has put out this ritual invocation. We've altered the weather here before. It was one of our first experiments. And baby, it was fine. It exceeded everybody's expectation all the way around. So, yeah. So stay tuned on that. And because, we can put our intent, and this is going in other social media. So we won't be just alone. We're going to be joined by others that we're not even aware of. But nevertheless, hey, far out. So I'll get more into that because the weather is crazy. I mean, it's just wacky. I mean, I like cool weather. I don't particularly appreciate triple degrees. There's some people that do. I know that the gathering that Grandpa Brian has put together and had to postpone is in August. I think it's the 11th with his Thursday through the boom, 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 boom. I guess it's to the 14th. Is that right? Yeah, on Sunday. So we'll get him on more. And for those of everyone that's going to make it on that, I know things have changed. I know for ourselves it's changed, but nevertheless, I'm sure there'll be some broadcasting done from there, and looking forward to it. Paul Joe, how are you doing? Yeah, the pole shift. Yeah, we're in a magnetic excursion. The United States government, NOAA, NASA, they don't want the population to know that our magnetic poles are a moving, baby. I mean, they're a moving, and they ain't going back to where they were. Gee, you think that, that the earth is affected by the sun, geo-electromagnetic, yada, yada, the poles, right? A compass. Well, if those suckers start moving, you don't think weather patterns are going to be affected? Yeah. Okay. We shall move on. So what else is happening in the chat room? Hey, Witch Moon, how you doing? Good to see you. Much hugs. Divine Empress, how are you, darling? Good to see you as well. Scotty boy, what's up? Hey, Janie, Queen of Swords, good to see you. Shifts are happening. Yeah, and shifts happen, don't they? It's like, yeah, they really do. Mm-hmm. Hey, but what do we know? Hey, Chris, what's up? It's a combo. Eye of the Maelstrom. How are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, dear. So I thought I came across this, and I want to share this. So give me 1 second, because I'm going to pull this up. I'm just going to read this real quick. So are you a kind person? That's what I want to know. So what makes a kind person? So dig this. It's not the sheltered individual that becomes the nicest person in adulthood. It's the broken people who have the kindest hearts. Trauma, heartache, and the pain can hold us back if we let them, but they can also make us stronger, much stronger. These experiences that create damaged people can also create kind and appreciative people as well. It's because we don't all fold under immense pressure and abuse. Sometimes we grow and we actually heal. Yes, it is hard to heal, especially when pain or trauma repeats itself, but we can still evolve into butterflies afterwards. We can also share the love and kindness like no other. Hope for the hopeless. So many children in this world are abused, and so many unexpected deaths and heartaches happen each day. At first, it seems like our lives are ruined. We may suffer for years, decades even, but our story doesn't have to be hopeless. In fact, there are many of us who have learned to love hard because of the damage we have been dealt. As broken people, we develop amazing quantities and qualities of empathy and charity. How is this possible? Why the kindest people were once broken people? Number one, they know darkness all too well. We are very familiar with darkness. That's why those of us who have healed, darkness doesn't scare us. Broken-hearted people, whether victims of abuse or survivors of trauma, have known true darkness. Most of the victims of any harrowing experience have been to the depths of this darkness, lived there for quite some time, like hanging a rope around your neck, and then come back with something remarkable. People who are damaged but who have healed bring the brightest light back with them after their previous journeys into hell. The deeper the darkness, the brighter the light. they will bring as well. They learned to understand how the darkness works, and they also understand how to eliminate this well of hopelessness. These broken individuals become kind and loving due to the light they learn to generate while in the dark. 2, they know where growth comes from. People who have suffered from long periods of pain, depression, learn to adapt. Maybe at first they are pessimistic, but after learning things from their pain, they see something else behind the hurt. They see the potential for growth. Now, I'm not saying that people should hurt to understand how to grow and mature, but those who have felt this pain seem to learn faster. They also tend to spread this knowledge to others in a sort of way that is patient and comforting, edifying and comforting again. The broken ones help others who are broken by showing that love fuels incredible growth. 3, they love the greatest. Have you ever met someone who seemed to love so hard that it was almost too much? Well, sometimes broken people mature into individuals who love hard, and they love true, with a sure sense of loyalty and devotion. Why do broken love so hard? Well, usually this comes from the lack of love they received as children, or all too many times of heartache from dysfunctional relationships. They may even love so hard due to being neglected at some point or the other that those who have always had love find it a little too much. Those who have suffered from the lack of love may be suffocating you, but it's just that they want to make sure they love with their whole heart. 4, they want to stop the hurt. When you meet a broken and damaged person, they will either be angry because they have yet to heal, or they will be the kindest person you will ever meet. Another reason why they are so kind is that they don't want anyone else to suffer in the way they did. The pattern of abuse or the pattern of neglect is like a generational curse, and the brokenhearted want to stop the pattern and create a new way of living. It's like a son of an alcoholic has 2 choices. He can fall into the same pattern of drinking, or he can stop the hurt that comes with the addiction. The one who wants to stop the patterns of hurt is usually a kind, loving, and patient survivor. 5, they are resilient and they are empathic. Survivors of horrific events are usually quite resilient. They've been through some of the worst experiences and came out the other side as a stronger person. Broken people such as this become resilient and can face things that scare others to death. While this resiliency, they tend to have a great deal of empathy, which causes them to be kind to others, sometimes overly kind. If someone else is going through something, they serve as both the backbone and the balm to those who need it most. The kindness of some people helps victims of abuse or domestic violence in ways that treatments and therapies cannot touch. It's because they can relate to dealing with huge amounts of pain. Never judge the broken. Many broken people are judged because they are different, or because they occasionally exhibit a few setbacks due to their dramatic history. Do not be fooled, however. These are some of the strongest people you will ever meet. Remember this: broken people know what it feels like to hurt, And so they work hard to be as kind as possible to everyone. When someone is mean to them, they often see the hurt behind the insults and anger instead of just how much they don't like the hateful person. Many of us cannot do that and tend to just dislike those who are unkind to us. Yes, the broken prefer to be nice and understanding. It's almost as if trauma has endowed them with the superpower of kindness. These are the reasons why the broken are so special. Wow. Well, there you go. So, think about it. I know there's a lot of broken people here. We tend to gather, and we gather because of the experiences that we have shared, not, as a group, but individually. And the interesting thing is that we bring healing with us. And when we all come together, there is a fountain of healing available. And that's why many of us are able to deal with strife and other issues, and even being human, we still are. So I just thought I'd share that with you. What visitation? Well, Dream Kitten, how about you? Hey, Ginger, what's up? All right. So in my discussion with Chris Matthew over at Forbidden Knowledge News, and my good friend Rennie, I was visited back in 2019, I believe. We'll find out here. And it's interesting because I wrote this down exactly how it happened right after it happened. And as we're seeing unfold today, there is, and here's the premise. We Homo sapiens, we're dying out. They've done this purposely. The earth is being prepared for a new tenant, and the process has already started. So let me get right into it. Someone says, let's get right into it. I happen to also think that it's very important that we all understand kindness. It's important, right? All right. So let's get right to it. So they visit at night. Many people are being reported. In fact, I watched a show over the weekend. Wow, there is something afoot. There's no doubt about it. And the visitations are becoming more and more. Give me 1 second here as he goes right over there. There we go. So when I wrote this is exactly how it came off. My wife and I were talking about it, and she still doesn't remember anything. Our dogs did. That was very obvious. If you've had visitation or visitations, it's not an audible voice. At least it hasn't been for me, and for the vast majority, it's not. They speak to you in your mind. We are telepathic beings. That's what we do. But here's the problem. My visitor had a few things to say. Didn't look like this. People asked, in fact, Chris said and the best thing I can tell you, it was looking through a shimmering presence. It was bipedal, but as distinct forms. No, the audible voice is in your head. It's how they speak. And so this is what I was told. And remember, this is going on 2.5 years now. Changes are coming. So it's kind of like almost a time capsule. So here it is. I'm just going to go through this quick because I think it's well worth it. This was a pleasant experience, and at no time did I feel uncomfortable. My visitor was polite and very well-mannered. The visitor spoke in my consciousness, and not with words, but with pictures and images. It's how it's pretty much done. I was in a room with what looked like an IMAX screen. The images spoke and seemed to be alive. Odd thing was that it was the visitor doing most of the communication. I was too engrossed with what I was seeing and hearing. Next thing I was aware of, I was back in our bedroom, my wife fast asleep, only our dog was aware of something. I then looked and it was 4 a.m. exactly, and the visitor was still in my consciousness and suggested I go and write down everything, of which I did. Went downstairs. I have my office here. We're doing it right here. Albeit my wife said more like a trance state while I was writing. Here is what I was shown. And it was like a trance state. She came down and was talking to me. I didn't hear her. It was weird. The new hybrid humans, they're living among us. And this gets pretty strange when you start doing this. More and more evidence. There is another species of Homo. I don't believe it will be sapien. We're a done version. Genetically, they are, well, we're dying out. It's by design. The alien races presented in the world today represent a different set of forces from those who have visited humanity in the past. I believe the Greys are a solitary lesson of what might happen to humanity in the future if we disregard the possibility that we might have an internal connection to a natural eternal state of existence beyond atoms. That's what these bodies are. We're encased by the atom. And I don't believe that the spirit really has it. So here was the visit. Exactly. It was February 23rd, 2020. This is the colonization of the earth, as the visitor told me. Phase 1. It began about 10,000 years ago. All religions are based upon these events. There was no, get this, there is no creation story. Not at least the way it's portrayed by the mindset of the rebels. Instead, it was a perversion of what actually did happen here on this planet. There are no actual humans. Never was. You are not a human. I'm not a human. You and I are hybrids. We know this scientifically. All humans are essentially hybrids. The book of Genesis, the Quran, the Vedic, and all other such writings are all accounts from a different points of view of the colonization of this planet, using what was here, speaking of genetic material placed within humanids and monitored for tens of millennia for the development of yet a future hybrid species derived from this mixed genetic material. This is how it was done on Earth. Earth was invaded. This has happened many, many times in the past. Some were violent, some were more cooperative, but nevertheless, Earth was invaded and it will yet be invaded again. Our current state of being was done by advanced alien geneticists, or you could say by the gods, for that is what they are to us, gods. Humanity was never a pure species. All the races are derivatives of what was the original package. This was a gradual process with different alien races and species sending their best scientists to Earth, for Earth is known as the laboratory of developing different life forms, testing them, cultivating them, and transplanting a new genetic material when complete. The universe is apparently genetic material is very valuable. Very valuable. As man developed, there was a number of critical flaws found within the mixture of genetic material. This showed up in the DNA, in the RNA of the creature. During the last 100,000 years, many mistakes were noted in the human hybrids. During these incubations, traits were observed. Most had very violent tendencies. Cranial development was slow. Intelligence was a problem in the more earlier experiments. Humans lacked the ability to talk, to perform complex problem solving, and interbreeding was a big problem. Early humans had an insatiable hunger for sex. They would breed with anything they could, and this resulted in a period of wild-looking and acting offsprings from these encounters. The end result was the geneticist had to destroy those versions. Culling was agreed as the best way to deal with the mistakes. From here, only those humans who were not contaminated by the mixing of their blood, their DNA, were harvested and saved. This is the flood that most hybrid humans know about today, and this was why it occurred. The moving of a planet is no big deal. Planets can be wiped as well, especially living force planets. The mistakes were noted, and instead of the central lab facility, the different races decided to spread out over the planet with new labs set up in different parts of the planet, and new experiments began. Some focused on the developing of different pigments, different physical abilities. Some were injected with DNA from distant galaxies, which resulted in some very bizarre abilities that shocked the scientists. A race of human hybrids began to show extraordinary abilities. They became stronger in all ways, even surpassing the aliens. They, in essence, these human hybrids became gods. With all the abilities of a god would have, this was the first genetic wars. The aliens had to call in reinforcements from their home planets. It took centuries to amass the forces of these aliens to build a coalition force and battle plans to deal with these new hybrid humans. In time that was required to build the armies of the aliens, these human hybrids wreaked havoc on Earth. All the inhabitants of Earth at that time began to develop at a faster pace than in the past. Advancements in all of the sciences, astronomy, mathematics, agriculture, and other mental disciplines began to emerge, and this led to man declaring himself as God. New religions were brought forth. Some hybrids displayed remarkable powers of the mind, which led to more confusion, and eventually war broke out among the hybrids who called themselves gods. And it was at this time the galactic policing forces arrived en masse, and a great battle broke out on Earth. These events have been recorded in some cultures, for our ancestors fought in this war, and humans were killed by the millions. So many humans were killed, it took centuries for us to recover from these battles. Our creators realized their mistakes, and they spent hundreds of years removing certain genes from our DNA to ensure such an event did not happen again. The aliens during the wars with the hybrids lost many of their kind as well. Many were captured by the hybrid humans, and the humans conducted experiments on the captured aliens, and much of the information extracted from the aliens was known by only a few humans, and this was the beginning of the bloodlines of the families. The knowledge that was extracted by torture from the captured aliens was used to set up hybrid human dynasties on the earth to challenge the creators. They kept the technology to themselves, to only better themselves while the rest of humanity suffered. They used this to enslave other hybrid humans. They used the hostage aliens to gain other technology from the aliens that had been forbidden to such low-level creatures like the hybrid humans. From here, these hybrids began to mimic the creators and foolishly began experiments of their own and created a class of beings, as you know, as angels and demons. They do exist, but not to what most hybrids believe today. Hybrids see them as good and evil, not realizing neither state actually exists, and new religions were invented to replace the aliens with the gods of the hybrid humans, and these hybrid rulers were of no compassion, no mercy, only servitude to the new masters. These human hybrids learned how to enslave certain aliens and use them and their knowledge to their own benefit and to rule over the other hybrid humans. A new hybrid plan was decided to be attempted to rescue the project, meaning us, instead of another mass extinction event. The aliens dislike failure as much as we do, but in a much different way. It is beyond our ability to comprehend how they think. It was decided to use the current mindset of the human hybrids and create a new hybrid, one that would claim their own, even worship, and in different parts of the earth. A messenger hybrid was developed in their lab. They abducted females and inseminated them with an alien genetic material that would give these individuals special abilities that the other hybrids, they would introduce a new paradigm of thinking. And it was hoped that the hybrid man would incorporate these principles into their psyche. Otherwise, the experiment would have to be abandoned and started over yet again. This was unacceptable for the aliens, for too much time and resources had been spent in trying to correct the flaws. The ending result of this experiment was Buddha, the Christos, and a select few others who were programmed to plant the seed of peace instead of war. Unfortunately, this plan did not work as they had planned. It turned out man was more advanced in ways they had not anticipated. And in the early 1200s, another war was fought. But this war was not of man's doing. No, this war was of the aliens themselves. It became known that these aliens who had been captured by the humans had managed to get a message back to their home world about what had happened to them and were desperate for a rescue from the barbarians, us humans. It is told that the one who delivered that message was the Christ. And when this group of aliens confronted the other members of the council and the council declined to intervene, a war broke out and was seen by millions of humans and was painted onto the canvases as this war played out in the skies above Earth. Go check out the Nuremberg drawings. It is spoken that the ones who had been captured by the humans were tortured and killed before their brethren could help them. These aliens vowed to get their revenge upon all human life, and they released something organic upon the earth that killed millions of people. And they have been abducting humans ever since. And the other aliens cannot and will not intervene. Woe to mankind, for the price has not yet been paid. It is spoken that these aliens did something to time itself. Maybe this is where the lost history of time went to that no one knows for certain, other than there is missing time from our past. Phase 2. Hybridization, the final colonization of Earth. In the late 1700s, a new, more aggressive plan was implemented by the alien geneticists. It must be understood that the colonization of Earth never stopped. It is a proceeding as planned, and it has now, for some reason, been advanced. More on this later. In the late 1700s, the abductions began to intensify. Humans were brought into the labs, both on crafts and land-based facilities. DNA extractions and injections were taking place. Females were forced inseminated. Male semen was extracted and monitoring devices implanted. Many of the world leaders were abducted and injected with new genetic material. Phase 2 had started. It must be understood by you, the reader, by this time in history, there were no original human templates left. All humans were now hybrids, but no humans knew this at the time. So the aliens operated with immunity, and they did not care if humans saw their crafts flying in the sky or under the water. That was not of a concern. In the late 1800s, there was another encounter with another group of stellar raiders who happened upon Earth by mistake. These aliens are not like the others that had been here for nearly 700,000 years. It is not clearly known as to what happened, but there was a battle. In fact, a very big battle took place among the aliens, and it is still ongoing, which has complicated things for the original group who were responsible for our existence. They are our creators, but they will tell you we are not complete yet. The goal is to replace and remove all of the original human hybrids from the records and to replace them with a more advanced hybrid species of human, and the plan is on schedule. There are new arrival of aliens has dramatically changed things. It is not fully understood what their mission or purpose is, but ever since their arrival, things have gotten bloodier, and it appears they have their own colonization plans, and they have plans to alter humans even more than the creators want. This is very bad news for all life on this planet. 1990s, things go awry again. The 1900s brought many changes to the earth and humanity. There can be no argument that the 20th century brought more changes to the human condition and the planet more than any other time. The 20th century brought 2 world wars, the culling of nearly 1 billion people, economic upheavals, to man learning to fly, the splitting of the atom, the introduction of a computer age, the man leaving the earth and stepping on the moon. Man advanced at a rate that is not natural and clearly shows something else happened. That happening had been the deliberate crashing of flying crafts known by most as UFOs. Here is the difference in the stories that have been told that are being told are anything but actuality. It has been said that these crafts crashed in the Southwest United States after the U.S. began exploding A-bombs. The same occurred in Russia. It is just they did not talk about it like the Americans. And that for some unknown reason, not just 1 or 2 crafts were crashing for no apparent reason, but, and you can check me out on this visitor was right. This has been released. Not just a couple of crashes, but hundreds of UFOs were crashing all over the world. For what reason, no government will say. What these governments are not saying is that according to the Pentagon, in the 1960s, this was deliberate, not an accident, not a malfunction of the spacecraft, but they crashed deliberately for a reason. And that reason is not fully known or understood, but it seems that maybe something was released, a virus, an organism, a new element, not known to Earth or man, but something was happening and it seemed to have a purpose. I hope you're enjoying this. Brings back some weird memories for me. It is reported that many of these alien bodies were found in almost every case, and each country took these bodies into their labs for experimentation and for study. What is now thought that this was done to inject something into the atmosphere that would attach itself to a living organism and inject itself into the DNA of the host. And the reason for doing such was to accelerate the colonization of the planet, to advance the hybridization of the last remaining humans of the last alteration of our hybrid species. Reports of human abductions began to appear in newspapers and magazines. The first cases were the Hills, reported in the early 1960s. From there, more reports began to show up claiming more and more people experiencing nightmares of being abducted. Then animal mutilations began being reported. By the way, this goes back hundreds of years from the mutilations, with reports of strange lights, all the blood being drained out of the carcasses. Now, let me tell you this. Get ready for this. Laser marks on the animals and no tracks leading to or from the animals. What was not reported was the fact this was happening to humans as well. All local police reports were monitored and censored from letting the public know that this was also happening to people. Hundreds of bodies over the last century have been discovered in the wilderness areas, in cities, in people's homes. Some even have been discovered in cars of people drained of all fluids, organs missing, and all done with precision laser cutting tools and other things not reported. Was what was missing in their brains was the pineal gland and the pituitary glands. They were all removed. By all counts, things began to change again in the 1970s. More reports began surfacing about women becoming pregnant without having intercourse and then having their babies taken away by alien beings. More reports of young men losing time, but distinct remembrances of semen being extracted from them, and more people reporting marks or areas of their bodies itching around an object right under their skin. Meanwhile, more reports from around the world with pictures of UFOs, reports of UFOs landing, coming from civilian, local police, state law enforcement agencies, and military. More missing person reports, more people capturing the aliens themselves on film and video, and more abductions. Then in the early 1980s, something extraordinary began to be reported, that alien children were living amongst us and that the governments were aware of this and apparently knew of this and of the plans for the complete hybridization of the human species. The hybrid children were not the first of the genetic seeders, for throughout history, they have been inserted into the tribes, clans, cultures, and societies of humanity. Humanity doesn't live just on Earth, by the way. Many of these great leaders in our history were not just human hybrids, but hybrids that possessed altered DNA. And remember, none of us are human. There are no true humans, only hybrids. It is just a matter of what is the codex number, which is in your DNA. It identifies which version you are and from which lab and which race designation the DNA and the RNA compound within you is, and if your line will be among the surviving hybrids. The rapid insertion of hybrid newborn babies has changed our world as it was meant to be and continues yet today, but with a difference. Phase 3, the 2000s, they live among us. Project Hybrid, my name for what is happening, has already been implemented, and it must be understood by all human hybrids that a new breed is now here. They are genetically different from all other human hybrids. Many childbearing females are now giving birth to a new species of hybrids that contain the DNA/RNA of the change, quote unquote. What is the change, you ask? It is phase 3 of the colonization of planet Earth, and it has been in the development for some time. The reason for phase 3 is because we have failed. This hybrid version of humanity is flawed and cannot be fixed. And instead of a mass extinction event, which still might happen, there is that alien species we pissed off and the new group called the Stellar Raiders. It has been decided to advance the colonization plan and implement new protocols. The alien geneticists never stopped experimenting. It is an ongoing work in progress, and when it was discovered that the current group of human hybrids cannot be repaired, they immediately went to work to create a new human hybrid using genetic material from another species, not of this world. By the way, we're doing it. It's what human geneticists are doing. Human geneticists have recently discovered that in the last 30 years, our DNA has changed or been altered by a staggering 7%. And they do not know why. And that is not all that has changed in less than 30 years. Our bodies are changing. Our intellect is declining. Our immune systems are changing. And each day we seem to discover more changes. I could go into a list. It's amazing when you start doing the research, the changes that are happening to human beings, these bodies. We are not all the same, and it can be reasoned that this carries over to the spiritual aspect of our existence. We are witnessing a new breed of human hybrids, ones who have no perceived soul or a soul as other humans define such, and do not show the same emotions, the same empathy for other humans. They have higher IQs than their peers who have advanced motor skills. They seem to have completely different beliefs than other humans, physically stronger, and have skills mentally much more advanced than others in their age groups. These children, these star children, they're now breeding. Meanwhile, we are seeing more of the other human hybrids who are declining in intelligence, have suppressed immune systems, developing cancers faster than any other demographic age group, and are dying younger. In fact, they have a new term for it. It's called, get this, young adult sudden death syndrome. Mankind is not who we think we are. We do not come from where we think we did. We were never created by a God of any divinity. We are not special in any sense at all. We are an experiment, and it is showing we are flawed. We are broken. We cannot be fixed. They have tried, and no one is going to fix us. There is no savior, and our version will be allowed to die out. We are being replaced even as you read this. They have control of the planet, always did, and we are not in their plans for the future. Our replacements are already here. They are breeding with us. They are injecting a new code into us. The colonization of Earth is happening. It is almost complete. My visitor said many others have, are, and will be getting visits. There is more to this story that I can't tell you why I know this, but there is still more to come. However, I'm more certain than ever before we are being replaced. The new hybrids are here, firmly entrenched into every aspect of what being human is. So there you go. Interesting to revisit that. So I know when I did it the first time and I got the reactions, a lot of people find this disturbing. I get it. We can't handle the fact that if we are an experiment, and I tell you in my biblical studies, it's very clear we're an experiment. Very clear. I'm just reading some of the comments over there. It seems like it very well could be true that we are a broken version. You could say this even from an anthropological point of view. If Homo Neanderthal, Homo Cro-Magnus, and you can just go through the other branches of man, sapiens are just an experiment. It's very clear that we're an experiment. We came on the scene and we killed everything else out. We killed all the other, cousins. And we have done nothing to this planet but ravaged it. But we really think that we're really created by God, that we're somehow very special, and that, that God could have never made a mistake. Well, then what the hell did circumcision prove? And this is a brutally honest conversation. Because I do believe that we're flawed. I believe that there's many of us that have these qualities that are well desired in other realms of existence. But folks, you look at the world today, it is, excuse me, I hate that when I forgot to put that in, and it's always potential spam. You can't argue that we're not screwing up big time. There's no message of peace today. I keep saying this. There's no message of love. In groups, enclaves like this, yes. It's why we grow. It's why others emulate the same thing. But it's not out in the world at large. And so, but you could say I'm wrong, but I would argue, tell me where we've improved. Tell me one area that we've improved. I'll look in the chat room. Assimilate. Isn't that the truth? So anyway, hello, Michelle, Hannah, I'm free. How are you doing, my darling? Good to see you. Brandy, you're a fine girl, like you never heard that. All right. So I got some good topics this week. We're going to be talking about, again, what we can do to help change the weather. I think that's kind of cool. Tomorrow with Trina on a second look. Later this week, I'm going to get into a detailed study. And I'm going to ask you now to start thinking, which one are you going to choose? Burial or cremation? On Wednesday, I'm going to do a show, and it's going to blow your mind on this. But anyway, Paul Joe, I'd agree. Yes, Scotty boy, it does. But, listen, folks, it's true. I mean, what we're doing to each other. You would think now, in thousands of years that we would get this. And to say that we're sin, that's bullshit. There is no sin. And it's amazing how many people are but they love you to stay in that mindset. Why? Because you're a slave. If you think sin is the problem, then, I don't know what to tell you. It's time to start looking at something differently, because that mindset is broken. Look at everyone saying cremation. Y'all are going to really like this on Wednesday. Tune in, because it's really interesting. Just feed my body to the golden dragon. I love that new Yoda. Exactly. That's going to be my, that will be on the party, because when I pass over, there's going to be a party. I don't know who's going to show up, but there'll be a party, because I'll be partying on the other side. I mean, you think I'm going to pass up my own party of departure and graduation? Hell no. I'm going to be right there in the middle of it. This is just fun. I love it. All right, everybody. And I can handle the fact. I have a sense that there are many of our codex number in this group. It's why I think there's a lot of us. I think we're in the millions. And this is what gets me. So there's a lot of hope. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done between now and whenever the new tenant finally takes possession of the place, but we'll make sure to keep the lights on, and the floor will be cleaned, and we'll wish them the best. And we'll just move right on along. Hey, Courtney, good to see you, darling. Leo, cremate. Yep. That's the same way here. Spread the love. It's contagious. Yes. Because if they can send a contagion in one way, well, we got the ability to counter it, baby. I say, bring it on. We got to do the Neo. It's like, come on, bring it on. I'm not afraid of you. Do you think you can kick my ass? Listen, I've had my ass kicked so many times, it don't matter. You know what happened? Every time I've got my ass kicked, I got back up, whether it was spiritually, physically, financially. So you're going to kick my ass? Have fun with it. You know what? I'll help you a little bit, but guarantee you this, the wrath doesn't have to be in the same way. There is a proverb that says you can kill them with kindness. In fact, there's another one says that by showing love, you heap coals of fire upon their heads. It drives them crazy. What, are you going to love me? Don't you just realize I just tried to kick your ass? Yeah, it's all right. Come on. I'll give you a big hug. Hey, Heidi, much love to you, dear. Missed you. So, all right. Well, this was a fun one today. I just love it. Okay, folks, have yourselves a fantastic grand day. It's a beautiful day here. It's like early fall. So I'm going to go out there and probably enjoy it some more. So much love to all of you. thank you for you each day that we get to meet. It's like I'm making a huge deposit in the spiritual bank, It's like, here's another huge deposit. And it's just, I thank you all. Y'all are a blissful favor, as a good friend of mine down in Australia says. All right, folks. So see you tomorrow. That's what the cowboy says. We never say goodbye. We'll just say until we meet again. All right. Until then, smile, smile, smile. All right. See you later.